Although it's only mid-October, the steam charter season is drawing to a close, in this part of the world at least. There's very little left, and no Christmas specials this year. The Clun Carlisle Steam Special is due to arrive at Carlisle from Coventry today, but yet again hauled by Tangmere, and what more can I film that I haven't done repeatedly over the past year or two? Clun Castle is due in Newcastle, hauling the Cathedral's Express from Birmingham New Street, so I'm going to go for a long day with completely new views. The weathermen are promising a dry, if grey, day with little wind, no rain, but poor air quality. Newcastle Central Station opened in August 1850 as part of the then Newcastle and Carlisle Railway and York, Newcastle and Berwick Railway. From the beginning, East Coast mainline trains had entered Newcastle from the south via the High Level Bridge. This meant, however, that they had to reverse in order to continue their journey, which lengthened journey times and led to congestion at the busy junction east of the station. This complex junction has been considerably simplified in more recent times. A more direct approach from the south became possible on the 1st of October 1906, when the four-track King Edward VII Bridge was opened, crossing the Tyne to the southwest of the station. The two bridges, with a connection on the opposite side of the river, meant that through trains could arrive or depart from either side of the station. Newcastle is famous for its bridges, connecting Gateshead on the south bank of the River Tyne to Newcastle on the north. The Norman castle, dating from 1080, was almost demolished to enable the building of the railway. Happily, protests led to its preservation, but we can see from inside the keep just how close the two are. The bridges, starting from the farthest down river, are the Millennium Bridge, the Tyne Bridge of 1928, currently in a poor state of repair with lane closures and weight restrictions, the Swing Bridge of 1876, no longer working, the High Level Bridge, railway above roadway, also in poor condition, steam locos banned from it, I'm told. The Queen Elizabeth II Bridge of 1981, which carries the Tyneside Metro. The King Edward VII Bridge, and the Redheugh Bridge of 1983, from which I intend to film. I'd already bought my ticket before discovering that the charter had left Birmingham 2 hours late and was running an hour and 3/4 behind schedule. I spent some time on the station, not filming, before heading for the bridge. A Lumo Express crossed the river while I was unpacking my kit. Otherwise, this would have been my first such capture. And I was joined by a local photographer who was afraid that he'd missed Clun Castle. When he heard the news, he decided not to wait for it. My plan had been to catch the arrival, crossing the bridge, and the empty stock heading back to the Tyne Yard to the south, before heading back to Central Station for a train to Chesterley Street, for some aerial footage of the southbound charter passing at speed. The next time I checked my phone, I discovered to my horror that Clun Castle's trip had been curtailed at York. A long and expensive trip had been in vain. At least, with all that traffic noise behind me, no one could hear my language. But what's this? Eleanor? I had to look it up when I got home. Apparently, LNER's latest advertising gimmick. A VIP, or very important puppet, named Eleanor. The very first steam railway up here was built to carry coal from the pits to the river, upstream of here, so there would have been a heavy river traffic. Nothing much is left today, and with the swing bridge out of action, nothing can get upriver anyway. If that unit had turned off to the left instead of right, it would have taken a single-line track through the site of the old Gateshead depot, leading to the high-level bridge, or straight on to Sunderland and the Durham coast. The air quality is, as forecast, very poor. A fresher breeze and a bit of sunlight would have worked wonders. This northern unit, coming from the Durham coastline, possibly Middlesbrough or even Whitby, was held on the bridge to allow an Azuma to head south. Presumably the unit would have to cross over the Azuma's exit route. Had it taken the high-level bridge into Central Station, it would have had to reverse to head back. This way it can head out over the high level for a quick getaway from Newcastle. LNER, Lumo, TransPennine Express, Northern and Cross Country all operate out of Newcastle. Although I did see cross-country trains in Central Station, unfortunately none crossed the bridge as I was filming. A pity, some more variety would have been very welcome. Less freight passes through here than through Carlisle. I didn't see any during my visit. With no steam train to wait for, and little chance of any further variety, I may as well pack up, head back to Central Station, visible in the distance, and see if there's any chance of getting back to Carlisle in time for that vital 16:09 to Dumfries. The brick arches to the left of the picture are the remains of the old Scotswood, Newburn and Wylam Railway, which ran past the cottage where George Stephenson was born. This route fell victim to the beach enclosures and ceased to operate in 1968. A short rump remains active today. Note the red signal. But what it serves, I simply don't know. Most of the remnant now provides a car park for city centre workers. So, a farewell to Newcastle after an essentially wasted day. Had I stayed at Carlisle, I would at least have filmed some steam. I caught a train which was scheduled to arrive in Carlisle just as my Dumfries train departed. For once, it actually pulled into the Citadel 2 minutes early. In my 81st year, and with a 30-pound weight in my rucksack, I had to run the length of Carlisle Station. The green light was showing for Platform 7. But I made it, just, without inducing a coronary, and actually ended up catching the last bus home. So, if you've stuck with me to the frustrating end, thanks for watching, and here's to the next time.